Camaradios everyone, let's take a look at a somewhat newly released lens. This lens was launched beginning of this year, so that is why this is a somewhat newly released lens. This is the Sigma 28 to 70mm f2.8 DG DN contemporary lens. Angle of view is 75.4 degrees to 34.3 degrees. Minimum focus distance is at 7.5 inches. Это получается 19 сантиметров. Diaphragm blades 9. And within the diaphragm blades of 9, you get a decent bokeh. Not the best bokeh, but you get decent bokeh. This is at the widest aperture of 2.8. At any given focal length on the Sigma 28 to 70mm lens, the aperture stays at f2.8. So this is how the lens performs in low light. There is no image stabilization on the Sigma 28 to 70mm lens. You have to rely on the image stabilization that is on the camera of the IBIS. Filter size 67mm. Weight is 16.6 ounces. Это получается 470 грамм. Super multi-layer and nano-porous coating. This lens does has a dust and splash proof. I would not recommend submerging this lens in your favorite fish tank to get that nice slow motion footage. An accidental weather storm happens and you get water splashed on this lens, you will be okay. Let's take a look around the lens. From the front of the lens, you get the 67mm filter size. The front of the glass has water and oil repellent, so if you get finger smudges, it'll be very easy to clean. And it has coatings, so it won't scratch that easily. It has two rings. The first ring is a manual focus, and it does has a switch for manual and autofocus, located right here. Easy to switch on and off, no struggle there. And the manual focus has a good dampening. It's very smooth, no trouble there. On the second ring, we have a zoom. This is at 28mm, and you can see by the wall how well the details are on the Sigma 28 to 70mm lens. So you can stare at the wall for now to see how well it performs. I don't have any of those fancy charts or anything like that, so we're just gonna test out the lens on its own, and you can see and judge how well the lens performs. You can pixel peep all day, but at 35mm it is very sharp at the corners. You can see on your own. But you can pixel peep all day and the lens will still perform very well. Let's move on to the next focal length, 50mm. What's up, guys? All right, so you can check it out, the view and stuff like that, and have fun. 70mm focal length. And this is where the 70mm, the edges do get soft. They're not that sharp at the edges, but the center area, it's sharp enough. The zoom on this lens, the feeling of it is really good. I like the dampening on this lens. It's very nice and smooth. It has like this nice dampening to not hit very hard whenever you're zooming in and out. So it's very nice. On the back of the lens, you do get a rubber weather sealing on it from accidental splash or dust resistance. So that's really nice. With all these specs baked together, you get an excellent image quality from this Sigma 28 to 70mm lens. I used this lens for a wedding film shoot and it performed well. I actually enjoyed filming with this lens. It's a very convenient lens. Of course, I understand that filmmakers, we love fixed focal length lenses. They're faster at autofocus and they're more reliable than a zoom lens. And I understand that a fixed focal length is much better than a zoom lens. What Sigma provides here is a good zoom lens, especially if you're on a tight timing. The film shoot that I had to do, couldn't switch lenses between 35mm lens, a 50mm lens. So I needed something very convenient that has a somewhat wide enough focal length and a 35mm focal length. Because with a 35mm focal length, you get that natural eye perspective, up close feeling as a human's natural eyesight. It was very convenient to use this lens where you don't have time to switch between lenses. Of course, within the focal lengths of this lens of 28, a lot of people say that's not wide enough, but I would say it's decent. Of course, a little wider of 24mm, of course it's a little better, but it's okay of what this lens provides. It is made out of plastic, but there are different kinds of plastics. There's that good quality plastic and there's that cheap, flimsy plastic. This lens provides very good quality plastic. If you're looking for a mid-range lens, because mid-range lenses would be between $1,800 and I would say $1,200, people consider that as a mid-range price. Of course, the high-end price would be of $2,000 and up. And then you get into the category of cine lenses. So within the mid-range price of a lens, or I would say a good price of a lens, I would definitely recommend to grab this out of the shelf and purchase this lens if you are looking for a lens that has that up-close feeling of a natural human's eye of 35mm lens, or if you're looking very up-close of 70mm focal length, then definitely this lens would be for you. Overall, of this lens, it performs very well. If you thought this video was helpful, share it. If you liked this video, click the like button, click the notification bell to get notified when there's a new video, and also subscribe. Nach вам dies.